And so in many ways, we've allowed the luxury of our liberty to manipulate us into a rebellion, and Satan will take it either way.
Strikes me that men should have been at the forefront of defense. You talked about how the church has advanced through persecution historically, and yet it appears to me, I could be wrong and I'd love to hear if I am, it appears to me through this current wave of persecution, which is no doubt happening, that the church has actually regressed. And I'd love to know if you think that I'm off base there.
No, I don't think that you're off base. And I think when there is a reality of persecution, overt, hostile, physical persecution, and that is on the rise in our own nation. But there also is a reality of what I call the temptations of luxury. We in the United States of America, we've enjoyed for over 2 centuries freedoms that could only be dreamed of in civilizations prior to our own, nations prior to our own. But in many ways, we've allowed the luxury of our liberty to manipulate us into a rebellion that has been induced by passivity. And what I mean by that is you have the warnings and the encouragements to press forward in the face of the hostile, overt physical persecution. But then you also have warnings like Deuteronomy chapter 8, as Moses is preparing the second generation of wilderness Israelites to enter the promised land, when he says, now, guys, be careful that when you've eaten and your bellies are full, when you have gold and silver and you have land and you have animals, be careful then, because in that environment, you could be enticed to forget the Lord. And to think that by my own hands, I have achieved these acquisitions and these possessions. And that is the opposite side of the persecution. And I'll tell you very plainly, Satan doesn't care which one it takes.
Wow.
All he wants is for what is supposed to be the Lord's remnant to bow out of the game, whether or not, you're fouled, and I keep using these sports analogies, whether or not you're fouled in your engine, you can't continue, or if you sub yourself out of the game. Either way, he just wants you out of the game, because his strategy is two-pronged: to keep people from being born again, period, to keep as many people as possible from being regenerated. If he cannot do that, the second prong of his strategy is to limit those who may genuinely be regenerate, to limit their impact as Christ followers, to where the faith that they have, it doesn't go anywhere beyond themselves. And that is largely the story of America. If you think about how America is secularized, it is because succeeding generations of Americans have been less and less Christ devoted.
Amen.
And so in many ways, we've allowed the luxury of our liberty to manipulate us into a rebellion, and Satan will take it either way.
This episode of Rapid Response was brought to you by CTC Math. Visit them at ctcmath.com today.